If you found this video enjoyable, please leave a like and hell, even subscribe if you want to. It only takes 2 clicks, and push that notification bell just to get the messages for my videos. That would be greatly appreciated. Rohan is a very fascinating character within JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, not being one of my personal favorite characters, but with him having such a plethora of stories and spin-off novels of him just being there, he has a lot to go over. And of course with me today, by the title of this video, Jobber.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's your lawyer Jobber Goda here. Nice to be on here, you know.
Dude, we're leaving that in. We're leaving that in. So I do got Jobber with me today, and we're gonna talk about Rohan because overall he is a pretty fascinating character to scale. So yeah, we'll just start off with the basics of him because later on in the video, surprisingly enough, the title of the thumbnail and the title of the video are not clickbait. It actually does get pretty crazy with me. So Rohan, in the context of part 4, is a mangaka for Shonen Jump. Of course, he is an OC of Araki. If you don't think that's true, I don't know what to tell you. It's literally blatantly obvious. He's pretty famous for his own manga called Pink Dark Boy. It's been shown throughout media to be kind of a joke and kind of Heaven's Doors within that story too. It's really weird. We know that, Rohan's a mangaka. That's about it. Nothing too crazy there. So it's important to know that Rohan lives within 1999 through 2011. Of course, he lives a little bit before that because, he's not 0 years old during 1990, but he exists for a very long time within the series and has a lot of appearances without the entire universe. Rohan is a mangaka that likes to draw in reality itself. He tries not to do anything fake, so he is very literal, and it actually kind of shows through his character throughout all of his spin-offs and even with the manga in and of itself. So other than his character and just kind of being a pretty realist when it comes to everything through and through, his stand ability kind of shows that really well. Heaven's Door. Anybody who reads Rohan's manuscript / starting manga pages will be turned into a human book. This works on multiple people at once. Everything that makes up that person is kept in their body as a memory. So a person that has done a plethora through their life is written down within themselves. So kind of in a way, Rohan is able to read a person's soul literally. Once a person has been turned into a book, Rohan can read them and know everything in their entirety. A little bit later on in some spin-offs we'll get to, basically from the point of conception to the point of death, he's able to read you entirely. And it even shows some pictures too. Rohan can also write in commands and actions into people. For example, he wrote in Koichi, "I cannot attack the mangaka Rohan Kishibe," and Koichi could not attack him after that. Rohan kind of has a law manipulation kind of ability where he writes in commands into these self-person books thanks to Heaven's Door, and people have to follow these laws to a T. Law manipulation is the ability to manipulate laws that automatically applies themselves upon reality, referring to rules, mandates, even fundamental logical principles, truths, facts, etc. Regular and more advanced users may be able to destroy or nullify these abilities within people / create new laws. Rohan can rewrite realities. So basically what this means is if he were to write in, you saw this certain thing or you did not see this certain thing within you, it basically can rewrite your perspective on everything. And basically in some cases can give you, some anesthesia in some cases, or, might write in a command where you cannot attack Rohan or fly you 30 feet back if he wanted to. Basically, Heaven's Door can just rewrite you in its entirety with certain actions and certain laws. So basically, Heaven's Door is fucking busted. TLDR, I guess. He can basically manipulate you psychologically and physically to the point where you can't even attack him if Rohan is fast enough to do so. So when it comes to Rohan writing rules or just kind of manipulating you through his commands through yourself, they are absolute and you cannot. They activate almost instantaneously unless stated otherwise by Rohan. An example here, Koichi tries to save his friends when Rohan is clearly the enemy within part. But of course, Koichi cannot do so because the commands / rules that Rohan has given him overrule his will in its entirety. Heaven's Door can also turn stands into books as well, and basically all preceding rules then apply to stands as well. So to describe a stand, if you don't already know, is a powerful vision created by a user's life energy. There's more of an explanation what is stated. Araki has stated on multiple interviews their kind of will and souls and just kind of more or less your kind of inner essence taken into physical form. In the Jojo Veller guidebook, Araki makes it very clear that this spiritual energy of life is strong and is a mental power, and that in some cases stands are endless when it comes to their paranormal powers. So basically, Rohan can manipulate even these crazy level beings beings with, you know, spiritual wills and life energies. And if you have seen my previous videos I've done in the past, yeah, the fact that Rohan can, I don't know, manipulate Star Platinum or King Crimson is kind of crazy. You know, manipulating a stand that can manipulate time is kind of a wild feat in and of itself. And of course, for an example, would probably even be the hand.
So Rohan precogs his opponent by thinking like of the fight like he would write his manga, and what actions would his opponent or main character would take to defeat Rohan with the information Rohan already has on them. To make sure Josuke doesn't do the unexpected which was expected by Rohan wrote in Josuke's friend, quote unquote, the very moment Josuke inconveniences Rohan, I will commit suicide by self-immolation. Now, to force Josuke into immediate confrontation with Rohan instead of running away, the person written with the suicide rule immediately tried to commit suicide and can't stop it. Simple weakness of Heaven's Door manuscript ability is that it doesn't work on like people who don't look at it or see it. Josuke literally closes his eyes and runs towards Rohan as a simple but effective strategy. Rohan doesn't just sit there. He throws pen tips so hard and fast and accurate at Josuke that it pierces his face, hurts him, right? And I think the most impressive thing about the scene is that Rohan can also come up with he can just come up with plans or game plans, bro, in 2 seconds. Like, this happened in the anime, didn't happen in manga, but still something to point out. Araki really loves this guy. Now, Rohan, the beast himself, deadass blitzed an enraged crazy diamond by physically himself, no stand, grabbing his manuscript from across the table, putting it in front of him faster than an enraged crazy diamond could attack. What's even crazier is that Rohan taunts after that like, yo, you thought that was quick? Bro,
why'd you say it like that?
It's like, dang. And he was like,
you thought you were quick, bro? No.
Yeah, he's like, nah.
No, you're not quick at all here, bro.
He was like implying that he wasn't even trying when he pulled that feat off. It was gross. And keep in mind that this enraged crazy diamond was blatantly stronger and faster than Star Platinum, who has like massively faster and light plus scaling. It's crazy. One of his most bonkers feats ever. Now, Rohan survives an enraged crazy diamond beating and is still very much conscious after, you know, the whole thing took place, and is trying to draw Josuke's backstory before he passes out or some shit. So this should easily give Rohan C level plus durability because of an enraged crazy diamond, like, you know, this feat of overpowering Star Platinum. Now, Heaven's Door can remove vision and launch a person forward. So Rohan has physics manipulation. Physics manipulation is the ability to distort, alter, and manipulate the laws of physics and the fundamental forces that govern the natural phenomena of the universe, right? Like, for example, such as velocity, momentum, inertia, nuclear forces, etc., right? So y'all get the gist of what that is about, pretty much. It makes sense that he has this. Now, Rohan can still effectively use Heaven's Door and read while under attack. You are not shit to Rohan. Rohan's favorite thing to do is to find people who think they are hot shit and say no straight to their faces. Rohan is on some Sigma male mentality. Grind set. Grind set, bro. Nah. He's on the grind set.
You can't believe you just said that. Yeah. I'm keeping that in. That's hilarious.
Rohan shows another case of physics manipulation by making Josuke fly backwards at 70 kilometers per hour. Now, Heaven's Door literally tells like Rohan, like the person's abilities when they're turned into a book. Like, I mean, deadass, it just shows like ability, this and that of this person. So it's super convenient for him. He doesn't have to go like, I don't know, flipping through pages. All right, so Rohan made Koichi understand and speak an entire language fluently just by writing in them that he can. It's just stupid. This ability is crazy of Heaven's Door. Like, god dang. So we get more like information on Heaven's Door. It says he can read the minds of a target that's been turned into a book, as well as write new pieces of information in them, allowing him to control their actions. However, cannot read his own distant memories or learn of his destiny. Rohan can possibly see other people's distant memories and destiny, because him not being able to see his own implies he must have seen it on someone else before and, like, you know, tried it out on himself logically, right? Once again, another quote: the genius mangaka that has been producing the series of Dark Boy since he was like 16 years old.
So basically, he's a child prodigy.
Yeah.
He's surprisingly not within the universe is a prodigy among all these prodigies. So
Yep.
just FYI.
Yep, and then the final, what was it, this final speed feat for Rohan that we're just gonna go over, and then Meta's just gonna take it from here, cover, you know, the less of Rohan stuff is, well, Rohan, at least we can take this as a fact, whether you believe this or not. I believe this is a measurable speed. I already have my, like, reasonings for it, right? You could say, this is as a low ball, easily infinite speed, but I argue measurable as a mid ball. So Rohan has immeasurable combat speed and reaction time. Rohan can keep up with Made in Heaven. All the other mangakas couldn't draw their mangas because Made in Heaven was accelerating time of the whole universe to infinity to time travel, just beyond linear time. It's immeasurable. And the ink on the mangaka's pen would run out like too fast. The only person in the world that can make the mangaka's deadline is Rohan. Rohan was able to draw faster than Made in Heaven's effects on the universe and time. Oof. And on the pen too.
So when it comes to Rohan and his spin-off stories, there are a lot of them. A lot of them are just kind of short stories telling of certain events that Rohan has experienced in life, while others are stories of, you know, Rohan literally fighting gods. I'll soon explain what that means in his stories, and there's a few implications with Heaven's Door within these spin-offs to imply that he's possibly even stronger than he was previously in part 4. So one of them being Rohan can literally straight up stop possession of people. So it's kind of weirdly implied with this. Basically, a demon has kind of conquered people more or less and is trying to take over their bodies. When a person dies in front of another person while this demon is possessing that dead person, that demon will then possess another person because they've seen that death. And it's weirdly explained, but Rohan was able to stop that from happening. He basically also kind of summarizes that it could possibly be a demon or straight up a new entire life form in and of itself, but he straight up says that he's not a scientist. But we know that he has seen a lot of things in his past, so this is quite possible. And in the context of Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe, it actually might be a demon. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So basically, here it is. This is probably what a lot of people want me to talk about and kind of explain. Rohan battles the mountain gods of Morio, basically. Well, actually, they're not Morio, it's a few miles up, but basically in the Morio area. Basically, these forest gods punish people with manners. If you kind of, you know, break or breach manners of Japanese society, they will punish you accordingly. To a certain degree, these gods kind of mirror Wonderview in a certain way where they straight up just start manipulating fate or predestined fate. These mountain gods will cause bad happenings around your family members or even you in this certain case where his editor began to have a literal heart attack. Rohan, being the Chad that he is, basically outsmarts the mountain god's avatar. They're basically their little butler and basically wins the fight. He basically says, no, I'm leaving. I don't care for the damn manor. Screw off. Yeah, Rohan just does this and just leaves. He still owns the property, I think, to this day, but, you know, he's just that guy, apparently. I don't really know. Rohan just basically beats mountain gods. And now, to kind of put in a historical perspective, these mountain gods might be real. As we know, Shinto gods in Japan are a very active and lively thing within modern day Japan as of right now. And there is a large amount of them. There is a very large amount of Shinto gods to, you know, of course, pick and choose from. So this could be a number of them. It never really stated or specified what these gods are. They're just some obscure mountain gods that like manners. But of course, Rohan beats them. Depending on your definition of a god, it's really up to your interpretation of this. So, you know, depending on how you perceive fate in JoJo, this might be an actual crazy feat that he just left. So another favorable feat that happens within these short stories is Rohan is capable of writing multi-step plans within multiple people within a few seconds, almost instantly. And of course, we know his abilities previously in part 4, so all these activate almost on the spot. So yeah, Rohan is extremely fast on top of extremely creative. It's also assumed that Heaven's Door can work on avatars. Basically, if somebody's controlling somebody else, Rohan can control that avatar too, which then implies, in the massive grand scheme of it all, you've probably all been waiting for this part, Rohan versus the avatar of Hermes from Greek mythology. So to vaguely describe this without making a 20-minute segment on how Greek gods work. The fact that Rohan himself was fighting an avatar of the Greek god Hermes, which is a god of speed, mind you, is incredibly weird. And within the confines of JoJo, and in terms of whatever beings or deities that exist within this universe that I might make a video on in the future, just because it's actually heavily interesting. The fact that, you know, Rohan beat a deity from Greek myth who can be scaled to probably outerversal, mind you, and probably even higher depending on some translations of Greek stories, is crazy in and of itself. And he was able to beat him. No, he might not have beat him because Rohan was actually scared of kind of looking over the edge of, you know, this avatar of Hermes, but, you know, we'll digress and just say he won that. So another crazy feat that I don't think a lot of people even know, and I didn't even know about this, is when Rohan goes to loot. Rohan can comprehend infinite black and the creative paintings that were causing this. Rohan can use Heaven's Door to erase all of his memories that were happening to him at that current point. So Rohan can basically erase infinity from his memory banks, basically. That is in and of itself pretty crazy, that the fact that he can just write, forget all my memories of this current time period, and then they're just gone. That is a pretty crazy feat in and of itself, and I don't even think Araki himself knows what he just did. That is a wild ass feat. All of infinite black, and you know, Rohan just said no. So it's pretty crazy, and the fact that he was able to kind of semi-tank it while using Heaven's Door is probably another feat in and of itself, but it's pretty wild. So depending on a couple of the data book translations and stuff, it kind of gets a little bit weird, and more or less is the same. You know, Rohan can control your actions by writing characters within you, and you can possibly lose your memory, get body manipulated, you have to follow certain commands, so on and so forth. This one kind of says that you need to look at the manuscript for him to control you, but as we've seen with Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe spin-off mangas, basically he doesn't need that. So these data books are a little bit, you know, outdated, but they more or less kind of get the idea through that nobody can overrule Rohan's overruling. So another thing about these data books, they basically, you know, back up Jobber's argument. They just restate more or less what we have stated in the beginning of the video, but if anybody doubted it, these guidebooks just basically back up what we're saying. Rohan is pretty damn busted. You know, the fact that he can write in commands and you just have to follow them strictly, and you know, he can body manipulate you, law manipulate you. He, you know, he challenged gods that are basically who can possibly be scaled to outer reversal and probably even higher depending on some Greek text and probably even Shinto texts, is crazy in and of itself. And the fact that he can manipulate gods' avatars is just wild. Rohan's pretty cracked depending on what you view. If you don't view the Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe stuff as canon, you know, he's still pretty powerful, but once you start bringing in the spin-off stuff, Heaven's Door is pretty busted. And I guess the only thing, you know, we can argue here at the very end is what gods mean within JoJo's, because it's kind of a contentious argument. We, of course, you know, that whole like spiel about, you know, how do demons work in JoJo? Could it be just be an entirely new separate life form, or could it actually be an actual demon? And of course, with other things explained in this video, you know, what is a god in JoJo? It's really weird. Araki has never clarified his thoughts on deities. You know, there might be a thing within part 8 JoJolion, but you know, it's just really weird. You know, it's up to your interpretation, how you view it, and how even the spin-off mangas to a certain degree. But the fact that he's able to beat avatars and have all these, you know, calcs and feats beforehand is actually surprisingly pretty consistent, and he's probably one of the strongest characters within the franchise just in general. Jobber, any words and thoughts you want to give on Rohan before we end it?
Bro, this man's busted as fuck, bro. Like, I'm just saying, like, but he's busted as fuck. I don't know what to tell you. This character's broken. Araki loves him, bro. Like, oh my goodness, in this community, it's almost yearly where a JoJo YouTuber has to put a video like, yo, reminder to y'all, this character's broken as fuck. It's fucked up to imagine that this guy would speed blitz like Jotaro or something, or even just like react to it. Maybe even speed blitz a Poochie, made him Poochie as well. It's ridiculous. He has like some stupid hacks. This character is getting new abilities, and over time, because of Araki making these short stories, even retconning previous limitations. I don't know, this guy's just OG as fuck.
Able to comprehend infinity and black. Infinite black. I'm just, you know, it's just, Rohan's really, really weird. He keeps on getting stronger, and I don't know how, I guess.
He's just that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're that guy. Okay.
He's just that guy. Honestly, that is the meme on the channel. that's basically about it. Rohan's pretty fucking busted, honestly. So, Jobber, any final words, things you want to say, I guess?
I guess final words for things I want to, say is, so I've already clarified the immeasurable speed. I've already given my like short explanation on it. I'll probably give like a even bigger one in a like future video on my channel. A plug, go sub to this channel. And of course, when it comes to the whole massively fast light plus and the whole city level scaling, I do have like a Jotaro video that explains all that very nicely. And other than that, that is pretty much about it. I hope you all enjoyed the video.
Yeah. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Stay hydrated. See you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen.